Hello, my name is Miguel Herrera and I'm going to be introducing the Baby Feed project, version 4. The team members involved in this project are Darian, Francis, Greg, Tarek, and myself, Miguel. The product owner is Dr. Cristina Palacios, and the professor is Masoud Sajjadi. This is for FIU, Computer and Information Sciences Senior Project, Summer 2020. Just to give you a little bit of an overview on what the Baby Feed project is. Its main goal is to be a pediatric nutrition web application for health professionals to prevent early childhood obesity. So this is a problem worldwide, especially here in the United States, and having a portal that gives you the ability to track nutrients and food intakes, communicate and collaborate with your clinician, and have that historical in those first 2 years of your child's life is vital. So a little statistic from the CDC is there's an estimated almost 9% of infants and toddlers ages 0 through 24 months have excess weight gain. This is a fairly recent study. It was published in 2018, but the data is from 2015 to 2016. But having something that can help you in detecting those patterns early will give you a great head start for the nutrition of your child. So some of the actors of the system, really 3 main actors, revolve around the administrator of the system, the clinician, right, or the pediatrician, whoever's running that facility, and the parents, right? Parents or guardian of the child. So they each serve their own purpose and have their own portal where they can interact with the different life cycles of this questionnaire that flows all the way through your visits to the clinician, to the pediatrician, and the tracking afterwards. So you can notice there on the slide an image of kind of the life cycle. That was this image was provided by our product owner. So version 4 of Baby Feed, the main goal behind it is for the system to be production ready. And the first go at it being production ready is unifying the entire process, right, into one centralized account for the code, where it's going to lie, where it's actually going to be deployed, where the data is, along with obviously all the documentation and installation guides that are going to be necessary for another team or even our product owners to understand and take on. So we used Azure for the deployments, GitHub for the code base hosting, and the data is hosted on MongoDB Atlas. This is a very high level system design. It's one of the tried and true, client server architectures, and kind of a mixture with microservices now through this version 4 of Baby Feed, and at least in terms of flexibility and deployment. So the front end's divided into 3 sections, the 3 different portals based on the actors of the system. The back end is divided into kind of 2 sections. One's for the authentication, Node.js service, and then the other 3 are Spring Boot Java services for the individual kind of domain specific. And then we're on Mongo database with multiple collections. All this is hosted on the cloud Right, Azure App Services. The web is hosted in Azure as well as a static storage, and the database is hosted on MongoDB Atlas. I'm going to go over the timeline of the project, just some of the highlights. Now keep in mind that this is a summer semester, so the project timeline is a bit compressed. So there was a total of 6 sprints. The first sprint planning with the product owner was the 21st of May, and the final stand-up meeting with the team was the 31st of July. So you could see the compressed timeline there. The total story count was 74 user stories. Now the first week was the introductory week, which was pretty much revolved around our environment setup and IDEs, the reading of documentation and code. And the final week was dedicated to just the final deliverable. So following up from the timeline highlights, I'm going to talk about a little bit of the highlights of features and hot fixes and enhancements that were made to the user experience, both in the front end and also in the back end. So the first set, it revolves around the questionnaire with form validations, notifications, creating dynamic IDs for each questionnaire rather than having them preset, easier traceability and relationships down the stream. So that was the first. The second set revolved around all the nutrient tracking and recommendation hot fixes and enhancements, quite a few. That was a good one. And we added a feature revolving around the communication between the parent and the clinician after a questionnaire is submitted. So some forms going back and forth. Additionally, outside of the production-ready setup and the enhancements, maintenance, and features that we delivered, we also did some data validation, migration, and integrity checks throughout all the services. So we added missing items, so just basic data entry, all the way up to making sure that those final data entries made it to the seeding in each service. So if somebody's going to spin up a version of the service somewhere, you're going to be able to have live data in your new Mongo wherever you're pointing to. And also the conversions between ounces to cups, just to make it easier for parents to understand, the intake of their child. And then the final, obviously, production-ready Mongo, which we chose Atlas, previously mentioned. So that was another big part of version 4 of BabyFeed. I'll say a final highlight of this version 4 and what we were able to accomplish for our product owner is giving them good workflows. Something that they really wanted in the beginning is understanding what each actor has the ability to do and limitations from either potential bugs or features or enhancements that should be there to help the experience. So provided a document per actor, which with test plans and test cases along with those. For future BabyFeed developers, we've provided many UML diagrams for all of our enhancements. We've also documented the deployments in detail for every one of our services. And we've developed we added all of the stories in a unified kind of account setup within Trello and Microsoft Teams. We've also deployed the code on GitHub, deployed the code on Azure, and hosted the code on GitHub, all using one unified account that was provided by our product owner. So documented that entire process as well. So we're finally at the summary of the introduction. This is, as most introductions go, it's just a very basic overview. In future videos that you'll see, in this playlist for Baby Feed version 4. You'll get demos. You'll get more of the process of the deployment and a little bit of the code. And you'll get an overview of all the actors' perspective, utilizing the portals, along with future enhancements and shortcomings. So I hope you enjoy this product, and I really have faith that this will help a lot of parents and nutritionists and clinicians just get data and understand the intake of a child, nutrition and food items. So hopefully it has the potential to improve, right, an infant diet and prevent early childhood obesity. Thank you for your time, and enjoy the rest of the presentation.